Well, it's little more than a crooked ditch with scarcely the appearance of a towing path. Here I am crossing the dead straight Birmingham New Main Line as I move into Soho Loop from Icknield Poor Loop, the loop featured previously on vlog number 103.
Right, mate. So we're now into Soho Loop. So that's known as Rotten Park Junction. But it is such a shame there are so few boats now come round any of these loops. So we're coming down now to Winson Green, where the infamous Winson Green Prison is. It's now known as HM Prison Birmingham. But it's actually a really beautiful part of the city. People don't see this. They don't come onto the canal to see just how beautiful it is around here. Over to my left is actually the City Hospital, used to be known as Dudley Road Hospital. So Brindley's old main line, as twisty as it was brilliant for feeding many, many different sort of factories and locations. So there were many little branches going, which is why it was called the main line. It was like the spine of the network as such. And one of the famous lines off here was down to Hockley Port, which is just down to my right now. So this was just kind of a straight line that went down to his mate's factory. So Matthew Bolton had his what they called a manufactory in those days. So this is called the Soho Branch that's going off to the right. So Matthew Bolton was a big part of everything that was going on, certainly around Birmingham. And he, together with James Watt, had a lot to do with improvement of the steam engine to therefore be able to pump water from coal mines or from the bottom of a lot flight back to the top and things like that. So down there goes down to Hockley Port, making sure his mate was all right.
I now realise that one of my cameras needed a battery change, and I thought, I'll just pull over here. Duh.
So when you stray off line on these canals, you do get stuck. And though the water seems to be very clear, when you do stir up that silt, when you get stuck on a bit of silt and it stirs it up, it's black. It's really black, and it smells of oil. It smells of industry. We're off it. Pulled over to change a battery in the camera. I've been there for 20 minutes. So there you go. It smells, that does, back there. Anyway, we're off. So if you come up here, stay down the middle. So yeah, prior to Winson Green becoming a prison, it was known as back in the day, that it was called a lunatic asylum. You can still see the frontage of it through the trees. So the frontage of it is now the admin block for what became Winson Green Prison. So the more modern prison is now built behind that frontage of what used to be the asylum. There was a lot going on around here because it was also linked in with the hospital, Dudley Road Hospital, and there was all sorts of stuff there for orphan kids. So that was classed as a workhouse. So you got an asylum, a workhouse, a hospital. There were all sorts of stuff here. It said that a lot of women were put in the asylum. So women who were suffering with things like postnatal depression, menopause, premenstrual tension, all that sort of stuff. Women were classed as crazy, and I'm not going to comment on that. But fancy putting them into a lunatic asylum just because they weren't behaving as rationally as society expected them to be. Shocking how we've moved on. So over to the right there, I'm looking now at the prison. And this bridge that we're now approaching is known as Asylum Bridge for all the reasons that I've just been talking about. Every now and again, quick couple of blasts of reverse. Just seems to be clearing the plastic or whatever it is that's going around my prop. Yeah, that's good. You just see that sort of fizzy, untidy wash coming off the prop. Quick couple of squirts in reverse. If you're lucky, it clears it. So this over to the right again, just by the prison. Fantastic archway going underneath. I mean, what was that all about? That's kind of quite ominous, really, that exists. What did that do? I mean, you can see the modern prison wall now, but where did that go? I mean, it goes directly into the prison. So, you know, a couple of 100 years ago, what was that actually doing? Where was it going? That sort of stuff intrigues me. Just dodging the odd shopping trolley, you know, the icebergs of the canal. Lovely day today. It's cold. It's cold. But we're what? Getting towards mid-October now, so You're not going to expect it to be tropical, are we? But it's nice. The colours are nice. The trees look nice. You get some lovely, lovely effects, don't you, in sort of the autumnal months, because the sun's starting to drop lower. So you get some good shadows, you get some good low sort of streaks of sun coming through trees, and particularly if it's hitting sort of yellow, russety coloured trees, they look fab when the sun touches them. So approaching the end of Soho Loop now. Again, we know it as a loop these days. 250 years ago, it was the main line. Here we are again, approaching the new main line. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn left and we're going to go back up into Birmingham on Telford's Mainline. You just have to hope. What can you do? All you can do is blast your horn and hope. And there we go. Did I really expect to see many other boats? Such a tragedy. There is another boat up there actually, so I've just missed one. And here we are, onto Telford's main line. So Telford's main line, going off in that direction down there. It now goes for, I think, about 15.5 miles. So the difference between that and the 22.5 miles of Brindley's old canal, twisting and turning, and the 6 locks at Smethwick, you can see that the massive difference. On top of that, it created a dual carriageway. So now we have towpath either side. So you'd have had no clashing of horses, all the cables and stuff like that, the ropes. It would have made such a big difference. So horses all coming in this direction, or horses going in that direction. You imagine the change of efficiencies in that. When Thomas Telford came to survey the situation, when he was commissioned to create efficiencies and find a better way, he was known to have said,
"Well, it's little more than a crooked ditch with scarcely the appearance of a towing path, the horses frequently sliding and staggering into the water, the hauling lines sweeping the gravel into the canal, and the entanglement of the meeting of boats being incessant."
I mean, cheeky blighter, really, because he was like 50 years on, 50, 60 years on from Brindley. You look these days at what changes in 50, 60 years, the technology, how it changes, how we progress, how we learn better ways. Brindley knew nothing else, did he? He was the pioneer. He was the first person trying to find the best way. And so, yeah, you look at it 50, 60 years further on, when you've got a bit more of an understanding of how these things work. It's really easy, isn't it, to look at something and pour scorn on it. But in reality, you know, Brindley was brilliant at what he did. Telford came along, yeah, he was brilliant as well. But somebody has to start the ball rolling, doesn't it? You know, the Wright brothers, the creators of Concorde, surely didn't say, the Wright brothers, it's no more than a paper plane. No, but the first people to invent something, it's incredible. Should never be dissed. He don't like you, Telford. You've been nasty to Mr. Brindley. Ain't having it. So yeah, taking you back into Birmingham. So that was Winson Green Junction, which is where the Soho loop goes off. We're going to go cutting straight through what was Port Loop and Soho Loop, and then we'll go straight past the other end of Port Loop, and then we'll go straight past the end of Ousel's Loop, and we'll be back into the terminus. We'll take back down to Gas Street.
Oh, there's something going on. They've got a ladder up. They're doing some repairs to the bridge or something. I don't like scaffolding towers at the best of times, but I don't want to be going up one that's floating on a wobbly old raft. And here we are again. This is dissecting the loops that we came down previously. So over to the right there, that's the end of Port Loop. Over to the left is the start of the Soho Loop.
So you can see the city really sort of opening up now. That dead straight canal, look at that. So as you can see now, everything's very educational, isn't it? So school parties, and it's nice to see that, you know, we are trying to make sure that the youngsters do understand the heritage, the history, the reason why this is. Because Birmingham wouldn't be the Birmingham now if this hadn't happened. And then you can see now the massive residential side of the city. And again, you know, this area around here, it wasn't a nice area to be. The canals were ditched, and then it started to get looked at, started to show some interest in it, started realising that the history needed preserving, stopped knocking down the old buildings. Now it's a great place to be. I don't know how other Brummies are. I'm so proud. So proud. It's a fantastic city. There you see the end of Ousel's Loop that we came out of. Oh, a bit of a breeze picking up here. Just watch myself on this bridge stanchion. And this now bringing us into the bit of Birmingham the majority of people know. This is a Brindley place, Street Basin. The kind of the tourist centre. And it's fab. It is fab. I'm just very interested in making sure that people don't lose sight of what was here and why things are here. And there's the start of Ousel's Loop, just on our right. We shot up there earlier on. And round to the left there is where we began the journey down at the one terminus of the main line, which was the Soho Branch. That then shoots off down to the Birmingham Canal. That came in, I think, 10, 12 years after this Birmingham main line was completed. And the BCN, the Birmingham Canal Navigations Company, they were very interested in getting that Birmingham Fazeley, because that got us to the coalfields in Coventry, and it also ultimately got us down to London, because we were able to join onto the Oxford Canal. But we're going to go around this way, and this is going to take us down to the Paradise Wharf terminus of the Birmingham main line. So this was known as deep cutting. And the little bridge just off to the left there is the old brewery wharf. There used to be a brewery just there on the left. Here we are. So this is Street Basin. Dead ahead there, that's the Birmingham Worcester Canal. So that used to be a solid bar there, it's called Worcester Bar. So this is Street Basin. And dead ahead there, through the brickwork arch, that used to take you through to Paradise Wharf, or it was also known as Old Wharf. There was like a tuning fork shaped couple of wharfs through there. And that big building there with the hexagon, the brand new building there, is where Mrs. Lumsden works. We're going to do a turn now. And more up for a bit. Directly through there. That was Paradise Wharf, Old Wharf.